Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As always, thank you so much for coming back. Today I'm going to talk about some of the resources that I really like for learning astrology. I get that question quite often. And so I'm going to start with the books that are good for beginners, and then I'm going to go into books for people who are a little bit more advanced, and then go into apps for both learning astrology and also reading your daily, weekly, monthly horoscopes. So let's start with books. If you're someone who is just newly getting into astrology and you're curious, one of the most basic and amazing books, but very accurate books that are out there is called The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need. The title's unironic. And it's by Joanna Martine Woolfolk. And over 700,000 copies have been sold. But anyways, it covers sun signs, moon signs, kind of like the basics of how a chart works. And it's just really thorough, but also keeps it at a high enough level so your brain doesn't explode and you're like, okay, what are these crazy people talking about? But to give you guys a brief overview, it goes into sun signs, the houses, interpreting your horoscope. It goes into the sun and moon tables. It goes into the history of astrology. It's really just sort of like the beginner's guide to Astrology 101. So that's a good book for beginners. So then let's say you start going deeper into astrology and you're just curious about the houses, let's say. My favorite book is called The Astrological Houses, and it's by Dane Rudhyar. I'm totally going to butcher that name, but I'm going to put all these links in the description of the video. And this is a very, very thorough overview of how each of the houses function, what their purpose is, and also what does that mean for your chart, basically. Going even deeper, we have karmic astrology. I've actually talked about this before, but I just hit myself in the face with this book. It's the moons, nodes, and reincarnation. So this is a really interesting one for someone who's interested in understanding the sort of karmic aspects of astrology, past lives, future lives, what do we have to learn in this lifetime. So this is delving deeper into astrology. This is more advanced. Very advanced and very specific. Healing Pluto Problems is my favorite book in astrology for understanding the dark side of astrology. So it really helps you learn how to interpret someone's chart, to understand the wounds that they have, the harder experiences that they've had in this lifetime, and also gives you a ton of tools for how to heal them. So as an astrologist, you can be not just telling them what went wrong, but you can maybe be helpful and inspiring for how they can start moving their life forward. So I really, really love this one. It's by Donna Cunningham, and I really hope to meet her one day. The other one, this is sort of a middle ground, I would say, for, someone who knows a bit about astrology, knows a bit about how a chart works, but this one is called Karmic Astrology, Past Lives, Present Loves, and it's by Ruth Aharoni. And basically this actually goes into love life stuff. So understanding why you might be attracted to a certain sign, what sort of groups of signs mean for you in your life. If you tend to have a ton of Aquarians around you, what does that mean? But it also talks about the karmic lessons that each sign has to learn. So I always find that kind of stuff interesting when I'm reading someone's chart, is pulling in some of the, basis and karmic purpose behind them being a certain sign in this lifetime. So now I'm going to go into apps, because I think that for our generation, where you guys might be way more interested in that than any of these old books that I have. So if you're someone who's very, very new to understanding a natal chart, but you're curious, you would be very well off downloading an app called CoStar. So this is a new app. It's really, really geared towards our generation. The design's beautiful, but it really is a simple way to understand the most important parts of your chart. So I did another video on the 6 basic parts of anyone's chart. It's kind of an app that explains all of that, but in addition to that, it has horoscopes too that are specific to you, so that's super interesting. So CoStar I fully recommend for someone who's new to astrology or curious, or just really wants a pretty accurate, up-to-date horoscope on a daily basis. The second one is if you're someone who is very into astrology and is very curious about not just knowing the high level information of their chart, but understanding the deep, psychological, crazy accurate parts of a natal chart, there's an app called Time Passages. And the design is not as beautiful as CoStar, but the information is fantastic. It's so thorough. It's so sort of, it actually ended up at the beginning of my studying, it helped me understand certain parts of my chart that I didn't quite understand ahead of time. So Time Passages, I fully recommend. It costs about $1 to download yours, but I would say that's a very worthwhile dollar. And then the last one for day-to-day horoscopes, it's a cliche for a reason. Susan Miller's app, Astrology Zone, is fantastic for daily horoscopes, and her monthly ones are amazing too. She's famous for writing hers in Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm always whenever I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I'm praying that I can run into Susan Miller while she's writing and pick her brain, but it's wonderfully accurate. And I just like that every single morning I can wake up and read what a brief description of what my day is going to be like. It's also a beautifully designed app. I don't know if you guys can see it, but kudos to whoever designed this. And then the last one is that if you're looking for pretty thorough monthly horoscopes, I think that Chani Nicholas is fantastic. I hope I'm not pronouncing her name wrong, but she's someone where I'm super inspired by her ability to bring in the psychology and the feeling that should go behind horoscopes. So I always find hers very inspiring, very deep, and occasionally can make me cry. And so they're really wonderful if you want to shape how your month is going to look on an emotional level. And so yeah, those are all of my favorite books for those of you who want to download some on Amazon, buy some on Amazon, and then some applications if you're someone who likes to just stay on their phone or on their computer. So I'm going to put all of the links in the description of this video, and also comment if you have any apps or books or anything that you found super useful so other people can learn about that. So thank you guys so much, and I hope this was interesting. Bye.